The 7 days of the 208 continues, where we redial some of our favorite stories of the year. Today, day 5, we decided to mix it up a bit. You know, there are roughly 1.8 million people living in Idaho, and obviously we couldn't meet all of them, but in the last 12 months, we did our best to meet as many as we could. A look back at the interesting people we met in 2022. For decades,
It's dark history.
the 208 may be distinguished by its places.
And there aren't too many places that were built back then that are still around. Exactly.
But it's defined.
But not you.
No, I do the news.
By its people.
And they set off the cannon, and it broke all the windows in the post office.
There were those who left their mark.
There's a line in Rent, the musical, that the answer to war isn't peace, it's creation. And I've always loved that line. I think, that's the best thing you can do.
And those who made their point. Since 1998, some version of this group of gals has come together once a week.
We have stuffers, we have sewers.
You got my stuffer?
With one task in hand.
We are making teddy bears for the children.
We met some world-class athletes, turning 3 national junior titles before he turned 19 into a professional career in Europe. Mateo took his first turn on the tour on the day he turned 23.
But it might be Mateo Jorgensen who's played it perfectly, and here he comes just behind with Nick Schultz. Let's see if they don't work together.
Both young.
I'm young, and it was my first tour, and I think I performed well and showed that, I have the potential to do it in the future, so.
And a bit older.
My nickname is Mama Wilkie.
But how old she is only highlights how new this sport actually is. Next month in Argentina, women's street luge will be recognized internationally for the first time.
To be part of that inaugural women's division is bucket list stuff.
Some we've met before. But in February of 1989, those downhill dreams were sidetracked when Muffy, on a training run, crashed through a fence at nearly 50 miles an hour. At the age of 16, Muffy Davis was paralyzed from the chest down, but only found out this summer they would be enshrined forever as a Hall of Famer, as a 2022 Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame inductee.
And what I noticed is there's more women than men being inducted this year. I love it. You don't even dream about these things. It's bigger than dreams. You dream about, winning medals and making teams, but being inducted into a Hall of Fame, it's just a whole new level.
Everybody needs to give.
Another level is one of legacy, which is what we learned will be left for the next Gem State generation. The small city of Weippe gave a big thank you to Mayor Norm Stedman Monday night.
It is the end of an era.
For 5 decades, Stedman was the steady man for this Idaho town, becoming Idaho's longest-serving mayor ever along the way, according to a governor's proclamation given to Norm in 2017. 5 decades of service is what made Marie Osborne stand out, starting in 1972.
At that time, Idaho was the first state in the nation to license nurse practitioners to try to respond to the needs of rural communities. Mom was the first licensed.
With that new license, the 41-year-old mother of 5 opened up Stanley's first emergency clinic on June 19th, Father's Day, 1972.
Then people started coming in for their allergy shots and blood pressure checks and chest pain, and so you sort of have to end up being a jack of all trades.
Over the year, we met some people who made us reflect.
We have failed in showing true justice to the people because we are divided by the ideology of very narrow-minded ideology that we are holding on to. It's sad.
Some who made us laugh.
And my mom would always say, what are you, a comedian? So, yes. But now I just look like Rasputin, the used car salesman.
Along the top of
and
the
some
cliff.
Who made us cry.
Then the fog lifted and the invasion was on. We took on survivors from that, but it was burning, and when we were trying to lift them up to the ship, their skin would come off, and that's one of the worst memories that I have.
Bob Haga wasn't the only World War II vet we met.
I was always somebody that wanted to do something special
but I wasn't special that I knew it.
Betty's road to remarkability revealed itself when she was just 19.
And suddenly, this voice comes with the radio and said, "We are interrupting this program to bring you the news."
So you joined because of Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
Nampa's Betty Martin was one of the first female Marines.
They always say once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
That's true. I cry. I cry every time I hear the march.
Betty turned 100 this summer. Meanwhile, you see, Don is turning 95 years old, and he marked his milestone this past February.
My mom and dad were both World War II veterans. God bless you, Mr. Don.
In 1944, Don joined the Marines out of Sioux City, Iowa, at the age of 17.
They took 17-year-olds if your mother was signed for you.
Anxious to serve his country.
The war was going on, and I was afraid it was going to end before I got in it.
Just days after turning 18, as a member of the 5th Marine Division, Don found himself on a beach in the Battle of Iwo Jima.
They let us crowd the beach with Marines, and then they opened up on us.
But on his birthday, Don was opening a lot of well wishes.
We're up to 124 cards from 33 states and Washington, D.C., 2 from England, 1 from Japan, and a handful of handmade cards from students.
I think somebody's thinking of me anyway.
All of them gave us something to think about this year and for several years to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
You know, according to the National World War II Museum, we are losing 180 World War II veterans a day. Just about 2 weeks after we met, well, Don Brown was still getting more than a handful of cards and letters a day. Marine Corporal Don Brown became one of those that we lost, passing away after falling in his bathroom. His daughter told us Don received nearly 400 cards and letters for his birthday from governors and senators from around the country and around the world. His daughter made sure he read every one before he died.